Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this is Saturday Night Live, your Red Pill news. Turn it off. Sorry for that. We have a technical difficulty in the studio. How's everybody doing tonight? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, God. So I'm testing out some new stuff tonight. And hopefully everything sounds good. It looks like the stream health is better than it's ever been before. So I'm really hoping this is going to work out well. Looks like we've got 175 people here. How's everybody doing? Can you see? Yes, you can hear me. I see the confirmation in the chat. I am just going to let everybody know there is a slight delay because I am trying to optimize the stream health. I want it to look good. It says right now that the stream health is really good, and it sounds like you guys can hear me loud and clear. That's awesome. We've got a lot of good news for you guys tonight. Lots of important things to discuss. So, let's get right into it. Do you guys like that Pepe? You like that very lifelike Pepe? The photorealistic Pepe? All right. Let's see. There we are. There's my opening right there. I've got so much to talk about tonight. We've got some news from Donald Trump. Donald Trump was just tweeting before I got on the air here. We've got information about our favorite Anon. We've got some information for people that have decided they want to jump off the Q train and the Trump train. Heard lots of people saying that today. We've got news on Sarah Sanders and President Trump talking about building the wall. That looks like my ex-girlfriend. Hope not. Jeez, oh Pete. We've got some information coming from Sean Hannity. We've got CNN fake news. The CNN fake news people are starting to lose hope because they realize what is going on. We've got a couple of tweets from some of my favorite people. We've got lots of notable crumbs from our favorite board. We've got a shocking claim from Nancy Pelosi. You want me to turn up my audio? Is it really necessary for me to turn up my audio, guys? I will turn up the audio, but I'm going to ask that everybody work with me here. I'm turning up the audio. How is that? Is that good or is that too loud? Can hardly hear you when I'm wearing headphones. Well, it seemed pretty loud when I was checking it out before. Is everyone able to hear me well? I've got the volume turned up almost as loud as it can go. I do not want to blast your eardrums out. All right, well, now it is as loud as I can go. All right, everybody's saying good, better, great. It's as loud as I can go. All right, so now that we have all the technical, no more. Yeah, I can't go up any higher. Now that we've got all that stuff worked out, we're going into the news. There we are. Here is my screen. We've got your chats. Muffin can hear you now. You guys might hear Muffin. She's snoozing over in the corner. She's a bit of a snorer, so she may come through the mic. I don't know about that, but we'll see what's going on. All right, so we have 667 people in the 743 it says now. Well, it looks like my numbers are a little bit farther behind you guys. All right, so right here, I've got a couple of tweets from President Trump I want to talk about here. He put these out just before I went on the air. He says, CBS reports that in the Roger Stone indictment, data was released during the 2016 election to damage Hillary Clinton. No sound. Wait a second. You guys saying there's no sound? Really? Hello? It stopped. Are you guys serious? There's no sound? No sound. Wow, you guys, that is crazy. Yeah, the stream health just dropped, probably because we got a lot more people in the chat. You guys, turn on slow mode. Yes, I will turn on slow mode. Save changes. Okay, you guys, refresh your screen. Okay, now people can hear me. All right. You guys, when we get a lot of people in here, it may make it that it gets a little glitchy. But if your show stops, if you can't hear me, if the video stops, go ahead and refresh your screen. All right, now I'm going to trust that you guys can hear me. It looks like a lot of people say they can hear me. People are saying that I'm gone. Slow mode is on. It looks like I'm going to need to make it just a little bit slower, you guys. We're going to change it from 30 to 45 seconds. So that will make it a little bit easier for me to read these as they're coming through. Thank you, mods. Please handle this stuff for me. I really appreciate it, you guys. Need that assistance. If you guys have any questions and you want to throw them out to the mods, and then maybe my mods can help me. But if you have anything that you want to send to me in particular, you can send it to me on Twitter at RedPill78. If everyone out there that hasn't followed me yet would go ahead and follow me. There are folks still in the original stream. This is the sound. Hey, look at that, Ringo. Yeah, you have no idea. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at RedPill78. Don't forget to send me an email if you want to. RedPill78 at protonmail.com. If you guys have anything, refresh. If your sound is not working, please refresh your screen. It says that my stream health is good. Everything appears to be working fine. And I am going to fix my display. All right. Looks like we're going to get rid of that. And there is the display. Okay. If you guys would also do me a favor, please like, share, and subscribe. Get this out. Corey Peterson, first super chat of the night. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you very much for the super chat. At CJPTRSN. Corey, are you following me on Twitter? Make sure that you have a picture on your profile so that I will know to follow you. You guys, I don't follow accounts that don't have a picture generally, because any of the bot accounts usually don't have pictures, or they don't have any content, you know. So I'd like to make sure that people are real, so that I can interact with you guys. Ian McCullough, thank you so much for the super chat. Do appreciate that, my friend. I'm going to not pay attention to people that say there's no sound. I've actually got a couple of other people that are checking up on this for me, so hopefully just refresh your screen. If it doesn't work, looks to me like everything's working. All right, so we're talking about Donald Trump here. Donald Trump tweets, CBS reports that in the Roger Stone indictment, data was released during the 2016 election to damage Hillary Clinton. Oh, really? What about the fake and unverified dossier, a total phony con job that was paid for by crooked Hillary to damage me in the Trump campaign? What? And then he goes on. KBrown611, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that, my friend. So he says, what about all of the fake, one-sided fake media coverage, collusion with Crooked H, that I had to endure during my very successful presidential campaign? What about the now revealed bias by Facebook and many others? Roger Stone didn't even work for me anywhere near the election. And that's the key thing right there. The key thing. Roger Stone was not working with the Trump campaign, and the indictment against Roger Stone shows that there was no such thing as Russian collusion. Russian collusion is a myth. Obstruction is a myth. All of it is fake. Fake, phony. Let's go ahead and see. Donald Trump has one new tweet, and he says witch hunt. Think mirror, guys. Think mirror. Remember, if this is a mirror, then that means the witch hunt is for Hillary. Hillary is the one who is going to get it. And I firmly believe that. I've got plenty of people who worry that nothing's happening, that Hillary is not going to get her just desserts. Hey, Diana Davenport, thank you for the super chat, and I'm so happy that you joined us. I'm glad that you got here. Did everybody get a notification tonight? It looked like I had a lot of people saying that earlier when we were all waiting. I made sure to send out a tweet about a half hour ahead of time so that people would, maybe see that if they didn't get the actual notification. But let's see. Donald Trump. Gotta love that man. Look at this. My friend Billy on Twitter sent this to me. This is an actual Craigslist ad from Washington, D.C. Urgent. Do you resemble Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Are you free January 29th? Hello, and thank you for your interest. We have an immediate and urgent need for someone who resembles the Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Pictured above, in life, on right. In case you didn't know, this is Ruth Bader Ginsburg right here, and that's Justice Thomas. We are trying to delay an important meeting in which she is scheduled to appear, but it seems as though we are utterly powerless to postpone this meeting due to an uncontrollable and unmoving orange force whose name we shall not speak of. This meeting is scheduled for January 29th. We will do everything possible to change the date, but it is possible our best is just not good enough. Rising shouting, another 16 if less drinking, swallowing sounds. Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. I get dry mouth while I'm talking, and when I start the stream and it's a little bit stressful, I tend to get dry mouth. Sorry, buddy. I will hit mute, and we're all good. We're all good. All right. So awesome tweet, or excuse me. Craigslist post from my friend Billy on Twitter. I'm going to give Billy a shout out right here because she's a Trump train aficionado. Let's see. Billy, I believe it's Patterson. Billy Patterson, that's right. Sophie's mom, 1018. Follow Billy because she puts out some good stuff. She's a nice lady. All right, so this is the the tweet thread from 40_head that I wanted to show you guys because it's about the Q train, the Trump train. If you're jumping off the Trump train, you were never on it to begin with. If you think this was just about a wall, you never understood Q drops. The wall is paid for. The shutdown was about optics. Trump wins again. Here's every Q drop about the wall. Learn them. So right here, who funds MS-13? Why did Barack Obama instruct HS and BP to release MS-13 captures at the border? What agency has direct ties to two major drug cartels? Why is AG Sessions and POTUS prioritizing the removal of MS-13? Why is AG Sessions and POTUS prioritizing? Building the wall. Immigration. Drugs. Who do you hire for a hit? Who can be eliminated after the job is complete? Seth Rich. Who was found dead shortly after his murder? What affiliation did they have? Classified. Q. Right. Oh, Rising Shouting. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it, buddy. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, I got a new microphone today, you guys, because the microphone stand on my other one broke. My cat knocked it off the friggin' table, and it just doesn't work in the way that I need it to. So this one sets nice and square, and I don't have a pop filter yet. So that's the next pay period. I'll get a pop filter. MS-13 is a worldwide gang. Important to know. Who funds them? Right here, how MS-13, one of America's most deadliest gangs, is funded. Let's take a look. Who is funding MS-13? President Donald Trump is ready to crack down on the infamous money-making MS-13 gang after a violent quadruple homicide in Long Island, New York last week left 4 teenagers dead and badly beaten. Trump is promising to remove the gang from U.S. streets fast. MS-13, a group that was started by Central American immigrants in Los Angeles in the 1980s, is known for its ruthless and violent tactics. Most of the founding members were from El Salvador and fled to the U.S. during the country's civil war that lasted 12 years, from 1980 to 1992. Since then, the gang's membership has ballooned to at least 10,000 members in the United States and more than 30,000 worldwide. That's according to the FBI and the Treasury Department. MS-13 is one of the most dangerous and rapidly expanding criminal gangs in the world. MS-13's motto is Mata, Roba, Viola, Controla. Kill, steal, rape, control. The gang has managed to expand its business tentacles into a variety of illegal activities. Despite sanctions levied against the group by the U.S. Treasury Department under the Obama administration, they are involved in multiple crimes including murder, racketeering, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, and human trafficking, including prostitution. MS-13 also uses violence as a means of extortion, which constitutes much of its income, University of Houston sociology professor Louis Salinas told Fox Business. A lot of the violence is part of the extortion and prostitution. Once they get here, they get these individuals and extort money from their families. They're also into extortion for protection of this neighborhood or that neighborhood. In 2015, the U.S. Treasury Department froze the assets of 3 members of the gang who were funneling funds back to higher-ups in El Salvador from prison. These actions were an attempt to disrupt MS-13's financial network by cutting off profits from illegal activities in the United States, the Treasury Department said. In 2012, the Obama administration designated MS-13 a transnational criminal organization and implemented sanctions against 6 members. While the U.S. government attempts to target MS-13's earnings, targeting its culture is more important. All right, so we can see MS-13 is, they are worldwide. All right, they started off in El Salvador, but they have branched off, and now they have a global criminal trafficking network. So that's how they get their money. There's also a group called the Pakistani Interintelligence Service, the Pakistani IIS, noted on this website right here. Open in a new tab. Okay, maybe not. There are plenty of articles depicting how the clowns in America have trained them for guerrilla warfare. Cynthia Pappas, thank you so much for the super chat. Where we go one, we go all, always. Apparently there are videos on the dark web, perhaps, of the clowns in America training MS-13 members on guerrilla warfare. One of the most highly trained organizations in the world are teaching rogue and dangerous gang members how to launch a war on our streets. Live stream offline? What? What is going on? You guys, my stream went offline, and now it is showing that it is coming back. Video output low. Oh my god. As soon as I start talking about this, it went offline. I can't believe that. You guys, can you hear me right now? Is it working? It shows that it's on, but that the stream health is low. Not enough video to retain it. You guys can hear me? All right, can you see the image? How is this going to work? All right, it's working. All right, good. It's good. I think it's very strange that as soon as I started talking about this subject, it kicked me offline. So I don't know how much I want to keep saying those things. But essentially, it's showing that there was this particular group. They trained El Salvadorian MS-13 members, and that's a familiar story. We have seen this particular group training, rebels, terrorists in a lot of different areas of the world. All right, it says the stream health is a little bit better. All right, good. So this article cites whistleblower testimony of one case where over a dozen MS-13 teenage gang members were captured at our border. Then the BHO admin dispersed them throughout the U.S. in foster homes and such, purposely deploying them into the U.S. Right here. Whistleblower says DHS knew that MS-13 gang members were part of... Opening a new tab. So, gross. Knew they were part of a illegal immigrant surge. The Obama administration knowingly let in at least 16 admitted MS-13 gang members who arrived in the U.S. as illegal immigrant teenagers in 2014, a top senator said Wednesday. citing internal documents that showed the teens were shipped to juvenile homes throughout the country. You guys, there is sound. Great. Senator Ron Johnson, chairman of the Senate Homeland Security Committee, said a whistleblower turned over Customs and Border Protection documents from 2014 detailing the 16 people who were caught crossing the border. Customs and Border Patrol apprehended them. They knew they were MS-13 gang members, and they processed and dispersed them into our communities. The gang members were part of the surge of UAC, or unaccompanied children, as the government labels them, who overwhelmed the Obama administration in 2014, leaving Homeland Security struggling to staunch the flow to Central America. Officials at the time said the children should be treated as refugees fleeing horrific conditions back home, though security analysts said the children were prime recruiting territory for gangs already in the U.S. So, again, the Obama administration knew this. What agency, again, has direct ties to two major drug cartels, we are asked? The clowns have been tied heavily to Central and South American drug cartels for decades. I myself have documented how the Contra affair consisted of the agency providing support to traffic drugs into the U.S. Here's the thread I posted just about everything tied to clown crimes that have shaped our history and our country. That thread covers a tremendous amount of issues, but the clown cartel agreements are in there as well. This will be in the show notes. The chat is already slow, you guys. It's already at 45 seconds. All right. Robert Neves sat in a congressional hearing behind two whistleblowers into the Clinton Foundation. He's one of the biggest players in the Iran-Contra affair, and while working with the Dead End Agency, allowed sex trafficking of women and children. Gene Lynch, thank you so much for the super chat. Still waiting to hear why you have 2.5 cats. Oh, okay. I will tell the story of the 2.5 cats at the end of this thread. Why is AG Sessions and POTUS prioritizing the removal of MS-13? They're going after this gang because they're aware of just how much MS-13 means to the DS. The gang provides hitmen, guns, sex and slave trafficking, drugs, and they're completely disposable. Why is AG Sessions and POTUS prioritizing building the wall? Because the wall will significantly hamper the operations of MS-13. It will stop their freedom to simply cross into the country or back out. The wall will also stop all people fleeing the U.S. when they are pursued. Immigration, drugs, who do you hire for a hit? Who can be eliminated after the job is complete? Untraceable people. Most operate under an alias. Immigration policies have been arranged just right to allow all these people in and all their criminal activities. They can be eliminated with nobody knowing they're even missing. They are ghosts. Seth Rich, who was found dead shortly after his murder. We'll talk about this here. What affiliation did they have? Classified. Q gives a major intel drop. Seth Rich was murdered by MS-13 gang members who were then killed the next day to tie up all ends. For some reason, that case is classified. Why? Who cares about a couple of dead gangbangers? Can they be tied to Rich's murder? Rafael Aguilar and Carmelo Marelejo Calixto, found in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, next day after Seth Rich's death. April A. IG report, Sessions public attack, Rod Rosenstein problems, seals broken, arrests. Why was Huber made public? Why now? Everything has meaning. Awan, Tarmac, Iran, North Korea, Uranium One, FBI, DOJ, Mueller, election integrity, immigration bill, border, wall, military start, big month. That's drop 988. Couple of things. Seals broken. Biblical reference, anyone? When the seals are broken in the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation, the end is near. Arrests. Who was arrested? Huber made public. For purposes of panic? Teaser. Master Templar. He says YouTube is censoring right-wing streams. Blackpilled had the same problem earlier today. They are also flooding the stream with chatbots. I completely believe you right there. I know that this is the case. and it is certainly annoying, but I have to persist. I have to just push on and get past it. So thank you so much for the super chat, my friend, Master Templar. Awan, A is bracketed, just like arrests. Immigration bill, border, wall, military start, big month. Drop is from April 2018. Is Q telling us that is when the military begin its arrests and involvement? Tribunals initiated. Awan and Gitmo. Big equals 297. So much more here. Drop 1009 quotes Drop 1008 and provides more info. Troops to border. Clown black ops. Private funds. Raised how? Troops at border does what? Impact? To who? D's involved. MS-13. Illegals roadblock. Sex traffic roadblock. Children roadblock. Drugs roadblock. Guns roadblock. China-Russia pass-through intel pull roadblock. Name we don't say Arizona roadblock. Jeff Flake, Arizona roadblock. Big money terminate. The wall means more than you know. The fight for the wall is so much more. Read that drop. The border issue is massive. It is nearly self-explanatory, but pay attention. The wall means more than you know. The fight for the wall is so much more. Lady Q, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. And I am, yes, thank you for making SNL good again, she says. That means a lot to me. I am doing all I can. You know what's crazy is that when I was a kid, I used to watch Saturday Night Live, and it's just a hot pile of garbage now, burning dumpster fire. So yeah, I wanted to take back that name and reclaim it. Is DJT going to cave on something that is so vitally important? Really? Think. What happened during the shutdown? The shutdown affected approximately 25% of the government. Not all of it. The parts that were affected 800,000 workers. Many services were discontinued. Money was cut off from certain services. Invalid programs were exposed. Democrats were exposed as un-American. Pelosi was outed as un-American. $5 billion is nothing compared to the entire budget. She proved she was about something other than America's well-being, and America's security was meaningless to her. DJT did not cave. The objective was accomplished, and don't forget, Anons exposed the setup for the MLK weekend to produce President Pelosi. The terrorist was arrested, the references for Hamilton and Lincoln were outed, HRC's "Don't Throw Away Your Shot" made it all too clear. DJT grounded NP as she tried to flee, showing her he knew. Here's my thread on that event. I'm aware I made some grammatical errors, and it was Desert Storm that started on Emo's birthday in 91, not Iraqi Freedom. I was working in between researching and writing, and it got a little sloppy. In my defense, even Q has to make some additions or adjustments at times. Look, as of April 9th, the military has started on the wall. Amazing coincidence. Military start. Wall. You have more than you know. Reason we are here more. And now we get to the grit. On December 11th, Q posts a few articles showing that DJT is threatening to use the military to build the wall. Fact is, as of April 9th, they've been actively working the border and building the wall. Fact. And the mother of all confirmations that the wall is being built by the Army Corps of Engineers. I'm sure you guys remember this. Patty Patriot, full steam ahead, Trump train. Thank you for the super chat. This was all optics, Anons. If you have followed the drops, the intel, the budget package, the everything, you would know Trump already has his wall. There is obviously still sections to be built, but since April, the wall has been going up. This was all about exposing Dems, cutting funding to certain government sections, keeping people away from seeing what's happening, etc. It was also about exposing a plot. Nancy Pelosi's power play exposed her as a dictator, an opposition that has no concern for American security or national security. So DJT gets his wall, he gets his State of the Union address, and he wins in so many other areas. Wait till he tells the nation the wall is done. You didn't think the largest military spending bill in history, fiscal year 2019, wasn't going to indirectly include funding for the wall, did you? Learn the Constitution regarding vested powers of POTUS regarding matters of national security. Q. See, the funding and the construction was already covered. This was planned and forecasted as the border funding solution from the beginning. Do you see? Folks, when we are told to trust the plan, it doesn't mean to jump on the Trump train when it goes the way you want with a wide open sunny day. It means commit to America. Do you understand how much more clear and open does he have to be? POTUS's own words. The wall is already being built and some sections being renovated. He told you straight out. How can anybody be doubting at this hour? Trump says on January 20th, don't forget, we are building and renovating big sections of wall right now, moving quickly and will cost far less than previous politicians thought possible. Building, after all, is what I do best, even when money is not readily available. That's it, folks. I hope you are aware we are on the winning side and there's no getting off and on this train. We are it. We're a team of the most patriotic people in America, working to understand, to expose, to encourage, and to preserve. Keep the faith, trust the plan. I hope that was good for you guys because I am even more enthused about what's happening after seeing that all put together. See, all of these things I know, all of these things I have seen come together, all right? But when you see it all in one thread, it is so exciting. Really opens your eyes, just like Tyrone said. Opens your eyes. All right, so now about the optics. Is President Trump setting the Democrats up? President Trump opens the government without border wall funding, but is this really a victory for the Democrats? I can guarantee you the headline you'll see in the papers tomorrow. It will be some deviation of Pelosi shows Trump who's boss, Trump caved, or Democrats win big. The Democrats are celebrating right now, and rightfully so. In a Rose Garden speech on Friday, President Trump ended the government shutdown on day 35, over 1 month since it began. Seemingly, he took the words of Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi to heart. Open the government before we will make a deal about border security. So it appears the Democrats got exactly what they wanted. The question begs to be asked. Why did President Trump make the deal and seemingly give the Democrats everything they wanted? Tilly Lowe, thank you for the super chat. Cost of 2019, first 4 weeks of Washington Post fake news. Awesome. That's great. I sure hope that you canceled your subscription to the Washington Post. Oh, wait, you guys, I forgot. I have to answer the question about why I have 2.5 cats. Okay, so I have 2 cats that live inside full time. They do not go outside during the wintertime. But then I have one more cat named Cagney. The first one is Simone, and then there is Smokey. Cagney goes and hangs out with my neighbors. They have like a cat house for him outside. So if he doesn't come home at night, he goes over there and he sleeps in the cat house with a nice, warm, heated blanket. Too little, too late. You are the one red pill that brought us all together, my friend. Thank you for your help. Man, that means a lot to me, brother. I appreciate that super chat, and I appreciate the sentiment. You guys, Muffin needs to leave the room, so one moment, I'm going to let her out. And we're back. So it appears the Democrats got exactly what they wanted. The question begs to be asked, why did President Trump make this deal and seemingly give the Democrats everything they wanted? Was there a point to holding out for over a month if the plan was to give in eventually? Anyone who has watched the president during both his political and non-political career knows one thing to be very true. Donald Trump doesn't lose deals. There is a reason that his most famous book is titled Trump, The Art of the Deal. Ask yourself, does President Trump ever just give in? The short answer is no. He doesn't ever give in unless it's a play in the larger deal he is looking to secure. Let's continue with that basis, though. What could be the larger play here? President Trump has changed the narrative in one fell swoop. During this shutdown, the Democrats had an easy scapegoat: the congressional Republicans. When this government shutdown began, Republicans still held both the House and the Senate, even if the House Republicans were in a lame duck pattern. The Democrats knew that and played that narrative hard. All Nancy Pelosi had to say was, I didn't start this shutdown. It began before I was even Speaker. The problem is she's right. The House was under the leadership of Paul Ryan, which isn't saying much. Now, the Democrats have lost that leverage. Over the last several weeks, every major Democrat in the House and Senate has decried the shutdown as wrong and thoughtless, all the while promising a deal if the president would simply open the government for a few weeks and let the people get paid. The president has given them exactly what they asked for. Robbie Starbuck says a 3-week funding deal is good. This gets workers paid. He can do a State of the Union where he changes the narrative and Democrats get the pressure now. They said they'd negotiate after the shutdown, so they have 3 weeks to agree on a deal with wall funding, or it's their shutdown. So what happens from here? Now the Democrats have to own their promises. They have to work with President Trump and the Republicans to secure the border. If they don't, 2 very important things are going to happen. Number 1, this will undoubtedly be their shutdown. And number 2, President Trump will prove that they are liars who never intended to secure the border. President Trump just decided to go on the offense. He took the ball back from the Democrats, who were simply pushing him to use the nuclear option and designate the national emergency. Sorry, I lost my place. This action, though not popular on its face, has a great opportunity to be an amazing play. President Trump is allowing the Democrats to hang themselves with their own lies. Don't be down in the dumps this weekend over this speech. The liberal talking heads will try to discourage Trump's base with today's events. There is a reason they're crowing so loudly. They need you to believe them. That's the only way they win, to dilute the Trump base. So don't trust Trump. Don't just trust me. Trust the president's record. History tells us one thing. He just doesn't make bad deals. And I think that this is a really amazing piece, succinctly putting together the reason that I trust Donald Trump. Okay? He doesn't make bad deals. He doesn't give up. He has pushed the Democrats into the corner. I was saying this to someone earlier today. He has given them 21 days to hang themselves from their own lies. If they don't make the deal, Trump has to use the nuclear option. And the shutdown was all on them. And it shows them that they are not willing to do the things that have to be done to take care of America and the American people. Now, it's showing this. Sarah Sanders stated that the clock has started. They have 21 days. White House Press Secretary Sanders used Twitter to start the clock on Democrats opposed to President Donald Trump's proposed border wall, giving them 21 days until the president builds the wall with or without the Democrats. In 21 days, real Donald Trump is moving forward building the wall with or without the Dems. The only outstanding question is whether the Democrats want something or nothing. Sanders' Friday night tweet came not long after Congress, with President Trump's support, passed a continuing resolution to fund the government for 3 weeks. The deal, defined by Trump as in no way a concession, because it's not, would fund the government through February 15th. Trump said, "I wish people would read or listen to my words on the border wall. This was in no way a concession. It was taking care of millions of people who were getting badly hurt by the shutdown, with the understanding that in 21 days, if no deal is done, it's off to the races." All right, so before we go on with another article, I have some posts from the boards that I want to go over. So this is a poster who is a psychologist, or maybe somebody who's just interested in psychology. He says, "Sorry if these ideas were in a previous bake. The more I think about it, the more it seems to me that yesterday, January 25th, was a day full of brilliant warfare, both political and psychological. Not just winning over the public, but getting the DS to overplay their hand and expose themselves. Fight or flight. A psychological response to simulated..." Oh, where's my mouse? There we go. To simulated and stimulated by the sympathetic nervous system. Janice Wiesel says, "Thanks so much for being here with us. We love you. Jan and Lewis, your laugh is great." Thank you very much. I do appreciate that, Jan and Lewis. You guys are great. Thank you for being here with me, because if it wasn't for you guys, I couldn't be doing this. One moment. I need to take another drink. What are some emotions that can bring on this response? A, fear, or B, anger. A pointer emotion that is supposed to spur us to action in response to a perceived injustice. Both emotions stimulated in the morning. Talking about the speech. There was the Stone arrest. Awaken the public. That's what it was for. Oh no, Mueller has that much power that he is willing to abuse to send SWAT to arrest a 70-year-old with his deaf wife upstairs. B, fear. Who else might he do it to? C, anger. Well, this is not right. D, Stone mentioned all the emails and other pieces of evidence he has. Well, guess what's going to now enter the public arena through discovery? Trump does not look like a revenge-filled dictator leaking documents to hurt a political enemy in a petty move, as the MSN would try to paint it, but he will declassify it, etc., just talking about optics now. But Mueller looks like a psycho drunk with power. Time travel, thank you so much. He says, I love the format, great work. And John B. says, the number 5. The number 5, John. Thank you for the super chat, both of you. So, again, I mentioned this on the show yesterday. Now that Roger Stone is in the public arena talking about all of this evidence he has, it's going to be entered into the public record, and it's going to have to be taken a look at. Again, his indictment says nothing about Russian collusion, but it talks a lot about WikiLeaks and the emails that were released from JP's email. Now, just another case of MSM and DOJ saying lying is cause for arrest. You hear that? James Comer, Jim Comey, James Clapper, HRC, etc. Mainstream media blasting the story in everyone's face. Some MSM even pointing out hypocrisy and abuse. Public being made more and more and more aware every second. The way this is playing out, I was saying this earlier today, the way this is playing out is it's seeding the consciousness of all these people. We're all awake, you guys. But do you remember the first thing that woke you up? Do you remember seeing the moment that you realized that everything that you saw in the mainstream media was lies? Okay, that they were feeding you propaganda. Well, think about how many other millions of Americans are out there that have not woken up yet. They have to wake up, and they have to have something that does it. All right? You guys, somebody just said we only have 1/3 ratio like to viewers. So if everyone would be so kind as to smash that like button, I would certainly appreciate it, because that will help YouTube notify other people about getting this out there. It will show up as a recommended video on their feeds if they're on YouTube. All right, now the POTUS address. POTUS address changes talking point. No longer on workers being screwed by Trump, just on the wall and politicians. Mainstream media tries to change the narrative and say it is Trump losing. Mainstream media is desperate. They realize what the actual narrative will do to them. Nancy and Chuck hate America. All eyes on Nancy and Chuck. Trump, nonpartisan, consistently stating facts. Nancy and Chuck, nothing but partisan. Anger. Well, this is not right. Injustice. Anger. Why do they not care? Anger. Wait, these people are hypocrites. Mainstream media trying to change narrative to say Nancy is Queen of D.C. Reality. Nancy looks like an uncompromising dictator now, but has very little power over the wall, so she is not as dangerous. Trump has showed much reserve and patience. Mainstream media cannot claim he responded like a petulant, impulsive, petty child. They'll try, but no one will believe them. Very important. POTUS put a time limit and very clearly stated his intentions. We do not have to feel like this will drag on forever. A hard end date has been set. Trump said, I tried every single way of working and negotiating with you guys. You did nothing but be partisan and show you do not care about Americans. Sorry, this is a lot, but this plan seems so immense, and this is just what this individual noticed. This is what's happening. Trump has successfully changed the narrative. There is no longer the Trump shutdown. This will be rebranded as the Democrat shutdown, and it will be the Democrats' fault if they do not come to an agreement. Trump will be forced. He will be forced to call a national emergency. Now, on that note of discovery, here is another theory about the Roger Stone arrest. Was Stone's indictment used as bait to introduce new Assange WikiLeaks evidence? Hype Stone's arrest at 6 a.m., used 20 FBI vehicles, lights on, agents are weapons hot, CNN is tipped off, they bite. No sense that it's too good to be true because the bait is irresistible. At the exact same time POTUS quote-unquote loses the wall battle, this only churns the water. A mindless mainstream media feeding frenzy ensues. Meanwhile, Roger goes to trial. He testifies, I did not talk to any Russians about the DNC emails. Mueller team says BS. Stone says, I can prove it. Subpoena Julian Assange's text messages and emails. Julian is extradited. His testimony, emails, and texts prove that Seth Rich delivered him a thumb drive with the DNC docs. How do you legally insert evidence? Discovery. At the same time, new evidence surfaces that implicates high-level Democrats in his murder. Mic drop. In front of the frenzied world, with all eyes on Mueller and the Russian collusion investigation, it's proven to be the biggest fraud ever perpetrated on the American public, while the real boogeyman played America for complete fools. So, right here, we've got a couple of posts. On January 25th, greatest witch hunt in the history of our country. No collusion. Border coyotes, drug dealers, and human traffickers are treated better. Who alerted CNN to be there? On January 24th, he said, a third-rate con man who interviewed me many years ago for just a short period of time has been playing his biggest con of all on fake news CNN. Michael D'Antonio, a broken-down hack who knows nothing about me, goes on night after night telling made-up Trump stories. Disgraceful. All right, so the delta for the difference between those tweets, 12 hours and 47 minutes. Now, in this post from our favorite Anon, we've got at 12:47, this poster said bait. And then they also said they fall for it every single time. How do you legally? Roger Stone referenced the Godfather Part 2 character in tampering with congressional witnesses, Robert Mueller says in indictment. Right here, we've got the Godfather reference in the drop. So, has this been planned for a long time, guys? Have they been waiting for the perfect moment to have Roger Stone arrested, bring him in, bring in the evidence, and now we can bring in Julian Assange? I sure hope so. All right, here is another decode from the board about Roger Stone. Let me make it bigger. All right, this is going to have to cover you guys up for a moment. Okay, so catch and release, security, safety and security. Special counsel, Roger Stone. 2 days ahead of schedule, January 27th, catch and release, safety and security. Coincidence? Have you learned how to read the message? I'll make this a little smaller. So, longtime Trump advisor Roger Stone indicted by special counsel in Russia investigation. In this Trump tweet, he said, 21 days, it's off to the races. We've got 210 days over here in this Q post. Time to move on 5/12. On 5/21, we've got this post. On this article right here, Daily 202, with a Godfather reference and a Nixon quote, Mueller accuses Roger Stone of witness tampering. Q had posted on December 5th, 2017, Godfather 3. So this was on 125. This was on 12/5. Right there. Washington Times, attorney for WikiLeaks Assange calls Roger Stone arrest a scare tactic. We've got WAR, war. On 5/21, we have the post that says, we are at war. Scare, necessary event. 21 days after January 25th is February 15th, 2/15. 2/15. I think they've been planning this for some time, guys. I think that this has been, I believe it wholeheartedly. This is the plan. All right? They know what they're doing. They have been setting them up. All right, now let's, I've got one more thing here about Nancy Pelosi. Oh, this is in relation to Nancy Pelosi's vineyard and the cave. The Pelosi's bought the property once known as River Run. Brandon Rains, thank you for the super chat, my friend. One moment, guys. I got to take a drink of water. Responding to a question from Napa County Planning Commissioners Wednesday, Paul Pelosi vowed to improve straight lines coming out of the driveway onto Zinfandel Lane. Pelosi's will develop 1,000 square feet of caves. She's got 1,000 square feet of caves that are going to be developed here on her land. What are they doing with those caves? What are they developing those caves to be used for? Now, cave in Latin, in an argument to give in, exhibiting weakness, to collapse, the roof caved in, a hollow underground structure. The tourists visited Mammoth Cave to see the stalactites. Latin, it means beware, as in cave, canum, beware the dog. Could cave mean beware? Something will happen suddenly and without warning, causing a sudden failure of existing deep state structures? Could be. They've got another couple of weeks to get there. And one more. This is about the shutdown for the 21-day reopen in relation to biblical events. This should be good with Q. What have they been using caves for? Well, they can use caves to hide children. They can use caves to do a lot of nefarious, evil things that they don't want people seeing. They can also use them, tunnels to travel. They've definitely used them for, the border, smuggling drugs, smuggling people. Suzanne, we've definitely talked about that before. I think that Robert Mueller is a white hat. Excuse me, guys. All right, so Trump. Okay, this deserves some attention. Trump opens the government for 21 days. What does that mean? Daniel chapter 10. In the third year of King Cyrus, those days Daniel was mourning for 3 full weeks. That would be 21 days. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to me, and I remained there with the king of Persia. Obvious Q-related code is obvious. The battle between the angel Gabriel, where for 21 days, while Daniel was waiting for his answer, battling against a fallen angel, prince of Persia, Hallel bin Sakshar, Hebrew for shining one Lucifer, the intervention in the end from the archangel Michael. Christians often cite these passages when an answer to prayer is delayed in coming. All a code for this is spiritual warfare. If you are religious, pray. Q had said, does Satan exist? Does the thought of Satan exist? Who worships Satan? The pedo networks are being dismantled. The child abductions for satanic rituals, i.e. Haiti and other third world countries, are paused, not terminated until players are in custody. We pray every single day for God's guidance and direction as we are truly up against pure evil. If you are religious, pray. 60% must remain private, at least, for humanity. These people should be hanging. And I agree. These people are evil. Come to think of it, this is the third year of the Trump administration, and he does know about the King Cyrus reference. Okay, third year of Cyrus referenced, just made the post hit like a ton of bricks. Nothing wrong with praying to God the Father in Jesus' name. It certainly never hurts to ask. So right here, yes, this is true. Abstaining from one of the many self-serving daily activities, whatever that might be for each one of us, and saying a prayer could be considered fasting and praying, so this Anon is not wrong. I wondered if Anons denied themselves one activity, could be anything, for the next 21 days, and actually prayed for President Trump, Q, and justice in general. What amazing victories might come. Either way, for one of those who have an ear to hear, this post is profoundly notable. That's my opinion. So yeah, I'm gonna ask each of you guys to take just a minute, take it every day, okay, while this temporary opening of the government is happening. Take a moment every day before you go to bed, before you get up in the morning, whatever it is. Pray for Donald Trump. Pray for Q. Pray for justice. Pray that these people are brought to justice. And pray for the plan. All right, next. President Trump and Sarah Sanders send tag team messages to Democrats. The wall will be built with or without you. President Donald Trump and White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders sent a 1-2 message to the Democrats Friday night, warning them that Trump intends to build a border wall with or without them, implying that Trump is prepared to issue a declaration of a national emergency if the Democrats continue to block funding for the wall. The wall is coming. The messages came as the administration is dealing with the fallout from Trump agreeing to the Democrats' demand that he agree to temporarily reopen the government without funding for the wall, but they would negotiate funding border security. Trump spoke via Twitter. We saw this. I wish people would read or listen to my words of the border wall. This was in no way a concession. It was taking care of millions of people, and they were getting badly hurt by the shutdown, with the understanding that in 21 days, if no deal is done, it's off to the races. Sanders soon followed, tweeting over Trump, in 21 days, President Trump is moving forward building the wall with or without the Democrats. The only outstanding question is whether the Democrats want something or nothing. Master Templar, thank you for the super chat. Have you ever thought of doing a stream with Black Pill? He knows a lot about the deep state, how satanic symbols in Hollywood media. I've never thought about it. I mean, I watch Black Pill. I'm subscribed to Black Pill. I don't even know that he knows who I am, though. But he's a good guy. He makes great videos. I love his videos. All right, there is Trump's video. These are the actual remarks from President Trump. We're not going to go through the whole speech, but you guys will be able to read that if you didn't get a chance to see it. Now, from Hannity. Hannity argues against the sentiment that Trump caved. Now, this gets back to President Trump's character. Sean Hannity is standing behind President Donald Trump after his Friday afternoon announcement that he's going to reopen the government despite not obtaining any funding for the border wall. The president announced on Friday that he would sign a measure reopening the government for 3 weeks through February 15th. So you say tonight to Chuck and Nancy, all right. Behind your back, your fellow Democrats, they want that wall. They also want to deal with DACA. They want to solve problems. They want solutions, Hannity began. Will you work for it? Now you can either work with this president, do what's right for the country, or the American people will see you for who you really are, just obstructionists hating a president. And anyone out there, by the way, thinking President Trump caved today, you really don't know the Donald Trump I know. He right now holds the cards. He will secure the border one way or another, he added. Hannity also defended him on his radio show earlier that day. Some of you say he didn't get any money for the wall, Hannity said on his show, according to Mediaite. No, he didn't, but he's going to. He continued, this argument has been about what do you want? What has Nancy Pelosi been asking for? Nothing. What is Nancy Pelosi fighting for? Nothing. But they just feeding this cycle bordering on psychosis, pathological hatred for the president. While Hannity stuck by the president, Ann Coulter, Rush Limbaugh, and Lou Dobbs all expressed either frustration with Trump or acknowledged that this was a victory for Speaker Pelosi, and they were wrong. Trump's decision to reopen the government ends the longest shutdown in history. Now, back to the optics of the situation. Dana Bash says, Dems are saying Trump's messaging on Dems about border security has started to seep in. It's working, guys. CNN chief political correspondent Dana Bash explained that President Donald Trump's message that Democrats don't care about securing the border may be starting to work. Bash appeared on CNN Right Now with Breonna Keeler alongside Gloria Borger on Friday, just prior to the president announcing that he will support a deal to reopen the government without any funding for the wall for a 3-week period. Let's go ahead and take a listen because I'm going to love to hear her say this.
About for the last week or so, as you point out, particularly after Wilbur Ross yesterday and Lara Trump and all these people came out. Well, Wilbur Ross saying, why don't these people just take out a loan? Oh, that's a good idea. So all of this together with the airport issues that we saw today, and by the way, with the Roger Stone indictment, there's a little changing of the subject here. Sure. So all of this put together, I think the president, who is, after all, understands stagecraft, understood that he had to cut some kind of a deal.
Yeah, and can I just add one other thing? Because obviously, as we've been saying, this should be and is framed as the president's strategy all along, and therefore it's his political problem much more so than Democrats.
Right.
But that's not to say it's not a potential political problem for Democrats also. I'm hearing from senior Democrats that they are hearing more and more from their rank and file, particularly the new members who tend to come from more moderate districts, saying they're getting pounded because the Trump message, the Republican message that they don't care about border security, has started to seep in as well.
Boom. It's working. Trump is getting through to these people. They are starting to wake up, all right? They are realizing that the Democrats don't care. It's just about obstructing the president at any cost, at the cost of the American people. All right? President Trump is winning. So all of this together with the airport issues, that's what she just said. She continued, I'm hearing from senior Democrats that they are hearing more and more from their rank and file, particularly the new members who tend to come from more moderate districts, saying they're getting pounded because the Trump message, the Republican message, that they don't care about border security has started to seep in. It is seeping in. The president has been saying that Democrats' position on his proposed border wall makes them weak on crime, dating back to well before the shutdown. All right? They are weak on crime. They don't care about crime. They don't care about America. They care about money. They care about commoditizing us. They want this stuff to happen, okay? They want drugs and crime and trafficking. They want it all. They want it all because they profit from it, spiritually and commercially. Now, Paul Sperry on Twitter said, the Stone indictment proves the deep state started with nothing, the Clinton dossier, and ended up with nothing, the Clinton dossier. Now the real investigation, and in just a word, the prosecution begins. Spygate. Lucy Q, you guys remember yesterday that I mentioned the CNN reporter that just happened to be on Roger Stone's front porch. He just happened to be there. He had a hunch. This guy was a former employee of the FBI. He was the assistant to James Comey. And I just wanted to get his picture out there, this little weasel. Josh Campbell is a CNN law enforcement analyst providing insight on crime, justice, and national security issues. Prior to joining the network, Campbell was a supervisory special agent with the FBI and served as special assistant to the FBI director. That's right, special assistant to James Comey. During his 12-year career, he conducted numerous high-profile terrorism and kidnapping investigations, blah, 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 blah. He is a tool of the deep state. Thank you very much, Lucy Q, for putting this out there from the boards. Now, this is from Lady Canuck on Twitter. Everything they do is a deflection. Why arrest Stone before the news cycle started? To change the narrative, to hide the real bombshell from today. Sally Yates read the FISA application line by line and reported to who? To Obama. Nelsie Ayala, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm glad you made it again. It's good to see him. So this is big news. You remember Sally Yates said before that she had thumbed through the FISA warrants, that she didn't read them. So this Anon thinks that this was all to deflect from the real news that broke about Valerie Jarrett and Yates reading the FISA line by line. This is bombshell because she knew. None of this, I just rubber stamped it without reading it, fully BS. And as acting attorney general, to whom did Miss Yates report directly? I think his name was Barry something or other. That is why all this BS has been going on. I will spell it out for you plain to see. Barack Hussein Obama, as a matter of protocol, against all his opponents during his entire presidency, or as revenge for the birther issue, and as a hopeful safeguard to his miserable legacy of failure, initiated, approved, and then executed a sophisticated spying and smearing campaign against first opposition candidate Trump, then President-elect Trump, and now finally President Trump. He used the broad powers of both the U.S. and foreign intelligence agencies, the U.S. Judicial and Fisc Court, as well as foreign spies to try and infiltrate and plant evidence on Trump or any of his associates that could lead to Trump. At first, this was meant to merely smear Trump, enough so that he could not win. Then, when Trump did win, it morphed into an insurance policy to oust Trump before he became entrenched and could learn the full depth of their treasonous actions. Now, Obama, the mainstream media, and senior members of both Obama's admin and Congress on both sides of the aisle are trying desperately to cover up and implicate anyone in Trump's, where is it? Anyone in Trump's, I lost it. Anywhere in Trump's, where did it go, guys? I'm so sorry. I just lost it. At this first, meant to merely smear Trump. Anyone? I just can't even see it. This is more from a smear campaign against a candidate to a full-on coup d'etat against a duly elected president. The more they try to stall, redact, or cover up the lies, innuendo, deceit, and using Mueller to strong-arm witnesses to get any dirt on Trump, the worse this becomes and the bigger the crimes. All the fault will ultimately lie with one person, and they are doing anything to prevent that fact from reaching the American people. Trump knows, and when he releases what he knows, we need to back him fully in doing what must be done. Again, do not lose heart. Now, I thought this was hilarious. Nancy Pelosi has accused President Trump of being blackmailed by Putin. Oh, God. Always comes back to Russia. Hey, Jerome Morsi, thank you for the super chat, my friend. It always comes back to Russia because they have nothing. They have nothing anywhere on anything. Okay? All of it is planted. All of it is contrived. It's manufactured. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi issued a statement Friday night accusing Donald Trump of being blackmailed by Russian President Vladimir Putin into undermining NATO. What does Putin have on real Donald Trump politically, personally, or financially? Why has the Trump administration continued to discuss pulling the U.S. out of NATO, which would be a massive victory for Putin? Pelosi made the unfounded accusations in a statement on the indictment and arrest for former Trump presidential campaign advisor Roger Stone early Friday morning by FBI agents at the behest of special counsel Robert Mueller. Pelosi tweeted out excerpt from her statement, followed by a link to her at her House webpage. Roger Stone's indictment makes clear that there was a deliberate, coordinated effort by top Trump campaign officials to subvert the will of the American people during the 2016 election. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. And she says his continued efforts to undermine special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation raises questions. What does Putin have on him? Why has Trump said, "I hate NATO"? The special counsel investigation is working, and the House will ensure that it can continue. And here is the full text of her statement, which we're not going to read. Nearly new Democrat golden boy, Andrew Gillum from Florida. Florida Election Commission has found probable cause to investigate Andrew Gillum for ethics violations. This is great news, because it means that he's less likely to return in the future. The former Democratic gubernatorial nominee accepted gifts from a lobbyist in 2016. Look at that, Andrew Gillum. Does it really surprise you? Does it really surprise you? There was a lot of talk during the election between him and Ron DeSantis that he had accepted all kinds of gifts, all right? That he was like trading like basketball tickets and stuff, and he was having his buddies get set up. Well, Andrew Gillum is in the hot seat. A Florida Ethics Commission announced Friday that there is sufficient evidence, make this a little bigger, to proceed with an investigation into former Tallahassee mayor and Democratic gubernatorial nominee Andrew Gillum's decision to accept gifts while on a trip with a lobbyist in 2016. Gillum's attorney, Barry Richard, told reporters Friday that an administrative law judge would likely hear the case in the next 30 to 45 days. We're going to have a full evidentiary hearing before an independent judge. It'll be open to the public and everybody can decide for themselves, Richard said, following a closed-door hearing at the Florida District Court. Erwin Jackson, the Tallahassee businessman who filed the complaint against Gillum, told reporters that the commission found probable cause to investigate 5 out of 6 possible ethics violations. This is a victory for the good ones, Jackson said. Yes, it is. The complaint focuses on trips Gillum took with longtime friend and lobbyist Adam Corey prior to his run for governor. In 2016, Gillum traveled to New York with Corey and 2 FBI agents posing as land developers to investigate Tallahassee government corruption. Text messages released by the Ethics Commission in October show that Gillum was aware that one of the men he believed was a land developer bought his ticket to a Broadway production of Hamilton, as well as paying for a boat tour around the Statue of Liberty. Gillum, however, maintains that he believed his brother purchased the ticket, the cost of which he later reimbursed. The Ethics Commission is also looking into an August 2016 trip Gillum took to Costa Rica with his wife, which was arranged by Corey after he won a week-long stay in a luxury villa. Gillum has long maintained that he reimbursed Corey for the cost of the villa, but invoices released along with the text messages on Tuesday indicate Corey's accountant never billed him for the expense. The FBI has not filed any charges against Gillum in the probe, which led to the filing of bribery and racketeering charges against former Tallahassee City Commissioner Scott Maddox in December. Andrew Gillum was being set up and prepped as the new Soros golden boy to kind of take the place of Barack Obama. If he would have won the governorship of Florida, he would have very quickly went on to run for president as soon as he could. And we've stopped him. Ron DeSantis is stopped this awful, worst timeline scenario from taking place. This is another big win for MAGA. The Telegraph admits it published an article about Melania Trump that contained a number of false statements which we can accept should not have been published. We have agreed to pay Mrs. Trump substantial damages as well as her legal costs. Yes, Andrew Gollum. Let's take a look. I love watching the mainstream media fake news eat crow. Yeah, I'm ad blocking. Melania Trump, an apology. Following last Saturday's Telegraph magazine cover story, The Mystery of Melania, we have been asked to make clear that the article contained a number of false statements which we accept should not have been published. Mrs. Trump's father was not a fearsome presence and did not control his family. Mrs. Trump did not leave her design and architecture course at university relating to the completion of exam, as alleged in the article, but rather because she wanted to pursue a successful career as a professional model. Mrs. Trump was not struggling in her modeling career before she met Mr. Trump, and she did not advance in her career due to the assistance of Mr. Trump. That's right, Melania was successful even before Trump. We accept that Mrs. Trump was a successful professional model in her own right before she met her husband and obtained her own modeling work without his assistance. Mrs. Trump met Mr. Trump in 1998, but in 1996, not in 1996, as stated in this article. Brandon Rains, thank you for the super chat. He says Nathan Phillips was a paid actor in a Skrillex video. That's right. He is a paid actor. Nathan Phillips is not even his real name. I believe you can even find him on IMDb. The article also wrongly claimed that Mrs. Trump's mother, father, and sister relocated to New York in 2005 to live in buildings owned by Mr. Trump. They did not. The claim that Mrs. Trump cried on election night is also false. We apologize unreservedly to the First Lady and her family for any embarrassment caused by our publication of these allegations. As a mark of our regret, we have agreed to pay Mrs. Trump substantial damages as well as her costs. Now, this is amazing news because it shows you what is going to happen to all the people who talked negatively about those poor kids from Covington. If they think that the Telegraph paid out the wazoo, just look at what's going to happen. And on that note, the mainstream media is in trouble. Not only are people getting fired left and right, BuzzFeed just had another round of funding dumped in because they have been failing. It says this has been an agonizingly brutal week for digital media, with mass layoffs at HuffPost, Gannett, as of Friday, internet juggernaut BuzzFeed. While it's unclear at this time exactly how many employees BuzzFeed has let go, the numbers gleaned publicly suggest sweeping layoffs across multiple departments, with entire news desks, including their national news team, simply shuttered in one fell swoop. Remember, this is the fake news outlet that originally published the dossier, the unverified and salacious dossier. Fake news does not pay off. In a truly Dystopian twist. BuzzFeed has decided to stagger the layoffs at the company across multiple days, starting today, with some people will have to stew with the anxiety of maybe losing their jobs all weekend before finding out their fate. Understandably, this has left the remaining staff at BuzzFeed with plenty of questions about the company's and their own personal future. And unfortunately for them, BuzzFeed has a forum for that. A dedicated Slack channel for employees to ask their CEO, Jonah Peretti, anything. And boy, are they. Thanks to a source inside BuzzFeed who has understandably asked to remain anonymous, here is a glimpse of what people are asking Jonah today. These are snapshots of what the BuzzFeed employees have said. This seems unnecessarily cruel. People are being asked to come in on days off and phone in from vacations in order to be fired. Meanwhile, the rest of us are being asked to carry on with already stressful jobs while waiting in limbo for the rest of the day. It hurts my heart to see so many talented colleagues and friends treated this way, and I hope moving forward there will be lessons learned. Right, like don't publish fake news. Hi, Jonah. Given how recently you announced the company-wide how important you felt our mental health coverage was and tasked the team with creating the Be More OK Suicide Prevention Initiative, do you have any plans to continue that initiative or to continue to provide our audience with coping skills, resource, hope, and stories that make them feel less alone now that most of the writers who wrote mental health have been laid off? Oh, and Jonah responds, this experience is heartbreaking for everyone involved, especially people losing their jobs. We had people up until 4 a.m. last night trying to accelerate the process and meet with as many people as possible before the weekend. The contingency plan for leaks was to accelerate, but we simply weren't ready and didn't want to rush so quickly that we make mistakes. None of the conversations happening today were even planned for this week, and it took real effort to move this forward to limit time waiting for the employees. Unfortunately, the entire process won't be done until next week. I wish this wasn't the case. I know this is resulting in additional anxiety and stress we are trying to mitigate as much as possible. It really sucks, and I'm sorry. Can you imagine? Can you imagine working for a fake news outlet such as BuzzFeed and now realizing that you're losing your job because you publish fake news? Be better. Be better, journalists. In my opinion, now is probably a good time to bring therapy puppies in for every office. I'd love if on Monday we could bring in our own small dogs and have one room designated for them for a couple hours so everyone can enjoy some pup love to mitigate stress. Some of us have to come in on Monday just to hear our fate and have ESA dogs, so that could not only help us but our colleagues. Give it a think. Basically, these people are wet noodles. Oh, they want to bring their dogs. It'll be easier if they bring their dogs. Finally, we're going to end on a story from Breitbart because it's happening at the Huffington Post as well. Verizon-owned Huffington Post lays off 15 unionized writers and completely eliminates the opinion section. Wonderful news. Wonderful news. The Huffington Post began laying off employees Thursday as part of its parent company Verizon Media Group's corporate restructuring plans. Huffington Post employees started receiving calendar invitations to meet with human resources in the morning. Among the areas impacted was the opinion editorial team, which was eliminated, Deputy Opinion Editor Chloe Engel has reported. For those wondering, HuffPost Opinion, the entire section, is being eliminated. Verizon is cutting about 800 jobs, or 7% of its media and advertising employees, as it reorganizes the troubled division. The wireless company has hoped to create an ad business that would compete with Google and Facebook. It spent roughly $10 billion buying up former internet pioneers Yahoo and AOL. However, Verizon found benefits from integrating those two companies was less than expected. No good for these people. El Triage, thank you so much for the super chat. Love your show. Watching the MSM implode is hysterical. Yes, it is. Look at this, guys. This guy, oh man, I wish I had the tweet. I can't find it, but Brian Magyers had posted some horrible things about the Covington kids. And look at this. Hi, all. Some sad news. As of this morning, Huffington's Post's original opinion piece section is no more. I and the rest of the team have been let go. Nick Wing says, after 9 years at HuffPost, I have been let go alongside some amazing talents. I managed to survive the aggregation turbine and so much more here, but couldn't escape layoffs. Laura Bassett says some personal news. I've been laid off along with some of my incredible colleagues. Jason Churka says it happened. I've been laid off. Today is a tough day at Huffington Post, but not for us, guys. We can rest assured and sleep in soundly every night knowing that we are one step closer to having an honest media in the world. Luckily, we have people like myself and other fine colleagues at YouTube, people on YouTube, rather, not people working for YouTube, who are willing to bring you the real news and tell you like it is. You guys, I'm going to have to get off here. I am losing my voice. I've got some problems with my throat tonight. If anybody has anything final that they want to ask me in the chat, I will give you a few minutes to do that as I start to wind down here for tonight's stream. But as I say that, I just want to let everyone know how much I appreciate you coming in here tonight. Looks to me like we've got 1,733 people live at this time. It has been a wonderful news day. We've got lots of great information. Can we bring our therapy slug? Bring your therapy slug, time travel. Bring your therapy slugs, everyone. All right, so everyone, once again, thank you for joining me. This was Red Pill 78 Saturday Night Live. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pill News. Thank you for joining me once more, and I hope everyone has a great night. I love you all. Good luck, and God bless.